welcome to the show. I am your host, Suzanne Monk, host of the one and only live Periscope cast all about Trump Talk US. Welcome to the show. Let's get started on the news. There's been some very interesting developments today in the Trump campaign, and some certainly things that great news for Trump. So let's get started on that. The federal district court judge that was trying the case based on whether or not the delegates are in fact bound by RNC Rule 16 ruled in favor of Donald Trump. District Court Robert E. Payne ruled today, in fact, the delegates are legally bound to vote on the first ballot for Donald Trump, even the ones that don't want to. Their votes will still be counted as bound by Rule 16, according to the district judge, Robert E. Payne. So that is a huge blow to the Never Trump movement, who is certainly working hard to, quote-unquote, free the delegates, unbind the delegates, and the court has ruled against that. They did not list that in the article, what district it is. I believe they were trying that on the East Coast. So it is a federal decision. They may very well take that up to the next level. But at the district court level, it's pretty much decided unless the Supreme Court takes it up. And as they're equally divided, yes, they have to vote for who won the state or for however they were allocated. So some states are allocated proportionally. Those delegates, in fact, are supposed to vote for the person that they were allocated for unless released by that candidate. And at last checked, only Marco Rubio had released his delegates. So I think that's how the delegate count works. If you, in fact, were in a winner-take-all state, you voted for who won in your state, and that was all of the delegates. So each state does it a little bit differently, but in fact, legally, if you were bound by the rules of your state, according to Rule 16 of the Republican Convention, you are bound to vote for Donald Trump. So it's a huge blow to the Never-Trumpers. They were working very hard on this, and it's not going to go. Just like we said the whole time, it's not going to go. They're legally bound. So let's talk a little bit about today's speech in Virginia Beach. It was great rally. I didn't get to see the whole rally, but they do. We have to vote on them in the convention. So they're not at the convention. The rules that you had been running under are the rules that apply until the next convention. So they can change the rules on how you get elected and the binding for the next election, but you can't change the rules in the middle of the game. So that's how that works out. Let's talk about this. Great rally today. Trump did a wonderful speech in Virginia Beach on, it was a speech on the veterans issue. He has a wonderful 10-point plan I'm going to post on the Trump Talk site about his veterans proposals. But he opened his speech with some very poignant and timely words about our police officers. I'm just going to read a little bit of what Trump said. Our police officers rush into danger every day to protect our communities, and they often do it thanklessly and under relentless criticism. They save thousands of lives every year, perform countless public services every day, and yet their names will likely never appear in a single headline or media report. But I want our nation's police to know that we thank you, and we support you, and we will always stand with you. These are the kind of words from Donald Trump talking about the recent situation. Talking about how an attack on Dallas police is an attack on all of our country. Talking about here, he says, we must remember the police are needed most where the crime is highest. Politicians and activists who seek to remove police or policing from a community are hurting the poorest and most vulnerable Americans. It is time for the hostility against our police and all members of law enforcement to end, and to end right now. And this is a very interesting comparison, particularly for our veterans. We went through an ugly chapter in our history, Trump says, during Vietnam, when our troops became the victims of harassment and political agendas. For too many police today, that is their daily reality. This is the kind of awareness. If you read anything about Trump when he goes around on his rallies, he is, of course, protected at many times by many different police officers. He always takes the time to shake hands, greet the police officers, and thank them directly. And you see that in his speech today. And he has called himself, and you should go to Trump's Twitter, and I will post all this stuff. It's also on Donald Trump's website, donaldjtrump.com. He is the law and order candidate, and boy, is that true, because we've watched Hillary Clinton and Barack Obama blame guns, blame community anger, blame confusion between the black community and the police community, as if there aren't black people in the police department, as if somehow we are all racially divided from the police department, which is insane. Donald Trump knows differently and is certainly going forward from here, naming himself the law and order candidate. And that is certainly, we love to do this segment, how Trump beats Hillary Rodham Clinton. Becoming the law and order candidate is certainly one way that is going to make a huge impact across the country, because we are tired of this violence. We're tired of the Black Lives Matter blocking the freeways, causing all sorts of dangerous aggression towards our police, causing all sorts of anger, the threats that maybe you don't actually act out on the threat, but you empower other people who would act out on the threat. And how we get the situation in Dallas is that the anger empowers people who would otherwise just go around doing normal things, play Pokemon Go. I don't know what they're doing. But that anger and that rage because of the false narrative again and again that the cops are targeting black individuals, when in fact, even in the most generous studies of police brutality, the cops are actually killing white people more than they are killing African Americans, even percentage-wise. So there may be problems with how the police departments are operated, but it's certainly not a race issue. And we need to come together, join together, and support our police department, and certainly take a look at maybe at the police unions and how they are holding bad cops in place. So we've talked a little bit about that. Trump also tweeted about the latest shooting in St. Joseph, Michigan. There was an individual who was able to obtain a gun in the courthouse. 2 bailiffs have been killed. So this war on cops continues, and we're going to continue to report on it, because I think this is an issue that our country desperately needs to address, and the only person who's going to address that effectively is Donald Trump. So he did tweet today, condolences for the victims, and he's very on top of these issues and tweets about them in a very leaderful fashion, someone who comes out and consoles at least his supporters, but this is the kind of person who's going to console the nation, and that's the kind of person I want. I want someone who is on top of these stories and who certainly has the right thoughts and the right words to say in those times of tragedy. And Trump's tweet nailed it. Totally nailed it. He also tweeted today a new Florida poll, which Trump is winning by 5 points. New Florida poll, 47% to 42%. Now they're going to mix this into the Real Clear Politics average, but I've been checking the battleground states for you guys. As you know, I keep an eye on all of those. So many are in the statistical margin of error, or literally in New Hampshire, it is literally a tie. In Florida, there are some of the polls have Trump up, some tied, but some with Hillary up a little bit. But again, 2 points, 3 points, 4 points. These are all of these battleground states. Once we start seeing how the polls really turn out as we move forward, once we get the convention, we're going to see what happens with this VP situation. Very exciting stuff. We will certainly start to see how the polls move forward, and with, of course, moving forward with many of these issues that Trump is addressing directly. So polls are actually doing great. We're ticking up in the polls, and we're fighting in every single battleground state. We're going to really make Hillary Clinton spend a lot of money to lose to Trump. This was going to happen. So let's talk about rallies. There's a rally in Westfield, Indiana tomorrow, 7:30 p.m. on Tuesday the 12th. And I told you I'd get those convention dates. The convention is the 18th through the 21st, as I mentioned. A whole bunch of speakers will be there, including Ted Cruz, if listening to Ted Cruz speeches is what you're into. But certainly it's going to be a convention for the ages, you guys. Not anything like anything we've seen so far. So definitely excited about seeing where that goes, and we will certainly keep you abreast of that. VP stakes higher than ever. Everyone's freaking out about General Flynn. I don't think he's the guy. I think he's the distraction so that we don't realize who they're really going to pick. So we're going to know in a few days. It's what, the 12th? In 6 days we'll know who the VP is. Calm down. Everybody calm down. But the news won't, and they're going to keep railing on and on. Let them roll. That's what they do. Let's do my Trump reason of the day. Trump's reason of the day. I have, on my Twitter feed, I have about 10,000 followers, and that's great because I get to see, they're all Trump people. I follow everybody back that's for Trump. And I have so many different groups that for Trump. You might want to look that up. Figure out what you're talking about, because You're reading media misinformation. They don't want you to elect Donald Trump. They want you to elect Hillary Clinton so the bankers all stay in power. That's why they tell you anything they can. That's why the protesters are all out in force. That's why all of this aggression and violence. They're trying to make it appear that they can take over, that they can. We don't want Trump so that they can stay in power. Big banks. All the people we don't like. So believe what you want. Believe the media if you want to. Or do some research. Tune in Trump Talk. Because we try to do the research for you. So, but I don't have time to do the research all for you right now. Because we have to get on to my Trump reason of the day. Diversity. As I was talking about on my feed, you will see just about every group for Trump. There's Sikhs for Trump. There's gays for Trump. There's trans for Trump. There's Muslims for Trump. There's Asians for Trump. There's blacks for Trump. There's Hispanics for Trump. Latinos for Trump. Women for Trump. Everything for Trump. Jews for Trump. I know every kind of human being on the earth, and some of them are for Trump. It's an amazing gathering of a fascinatingly diverse group. How many different kinds of people are supporting Donald Trump? And that's one of the reasons that I personally have supported Donald Trump from the beginning, because I knew he would be the kind of candidate, because he's an outsider and because he's preaching America first, preaching about our veterans, preaching about issues that affect all of us, that he would draw a huge diverse group. And he did. And he does and continues to. And that's impressive. Hillary Clinton is barely able to keep a hold of a few demographics. Trump's got some of everybody, and he's going to beat Hillary Clinton that way. But his pooling of diversity suggests to me that he can, in fact, unify this country. That's my Trump reason of the day. So, there you go. Let's do the fun part, you guys. Trump hotties. On the theme of diversity, this is our Trump hottie of the day. You're just in time for Trump hotties. Are you excited? Here we go. Oh, I love it. The American flag. She's got her Make America Great hat on. Beautiful, beautiful. Asian. She might be Filipino. She might be, I don't know. I didn't ask her because it's just a photo. But in fact, that's what I'm talking about. All different nationalities, all different races, all different people. They support Trump. You know why? Because they're Americans. Americans. Americans support Trump. And that's why all different kinds. So, no worries, Deb. You can always watch the replay. It'll be there for you. Don't worry. We'll take care of you. So that is our hottie of the day. We will be looking over Trump's 10-point speech on veterans reforms. And tomorrow we will be doing a special edition. Got a brand new chalkboard. Can't wait to bust it out for our special edition. And we will break down each of those points one by one tomorrow after Trump Talk. So we do Trump Talk right around 10 o'clock. Tomorrow around about 10:15, 10:30, we're going to do Trump Talk special edition and break down all of the 10 points on his veterans speech so that we can get you guys the information on how Trump is going to take veterans first, put America first, and make our country great again, which is what we all want. So thanks for tuning in, you guys. That is our show for today. We will see you back again tomorrow. And like I said, we'll do a special edition about all those veteran issues. You can, of course, find me here at Trumpetarian. You can email the show, trumptalk@gmail.com. Trump Talk US, excuse me. And, of course, www.trumptalk.us. For me, a little Trumpy. Keep on trumping, everybody. We'll be back tomorrow. The convention's soon, and we're going to another VP. It's getting so exciting. Can't wait. See you soon.